Okay, um, so for my accessibility case study, I actually chose to look at my own life instead of to interview somebody else, as I struggle with disability um, and chronic illness. Um, I am 26 years old. I went to college in 2017 to become a nurse, and I graduated in 2021. Um, I worked as a nurse for a few years. However, my illnesses made working in that field impossible. I was not able to work 12-hour shifts, and due to my chronic pain, it made being around narcotics very difficult for me. So I decided to remove myself from that situation. I'm now in school again at UVU to obtain a different bachelor's degree, the second one that allows me to work from home while still having a job that I can actually provide for myself with. Most of the things I enjoy are things that distract me or things that make me think a lot. So video games and creative writing, because then I'm not really thinking about how much my body hurts. But I've kind of just gotten into a groove throughout my life. So I struggle with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, or EDS. I have also had struggles with increased intracranial pressure, or pressure inside of my skull that affects my brain, and chronic pain associated with both of these things. EDS has made my life extremely difficult, and my schedule is extremely varied because of this. But at the same time, I think I have gotten to a point with my own body that I know when things are going to go wrong or how to make things go smoothly. So while I don't really have a consistent schedule, it's something that I guess is consistent for me in a way. But my sleep is extremely irregular. I also struggle a lot with my digestive system, so I don't eat in the morning as it will make me sick. And my lunch and dinner meals are usually quite small and are typically more made of like snack foods. Like I'll have a variety of fruits and vegetables because eating those things is good for me. Fiber is good for me. It also allows me to get glucose into my system without eating something more processed that'll upset my stomach. Because I also deal with hypoglycemia at times where my blood sugar will drop. This is actually something that my doctors have compared to like the opposite of diabetes, where my body overproduces insulin, and thus my blood sugar is very often low. I do work a part-time job that's about 15 hours a week, and I do have class twice a week. I don't often go to class. My professors in my program understand my illnesses, and they work with me to obtain my degree from home. However, when I do work, the job I work is I help run a shop, a little tiny shop, but that allows me to sit down for most of my work shift, and it's mostly just interacting with customers and selling different products. I also work in the evenings, which is when I feel the best. It's the time where I'm most consistently awake, and while I do have to spend a lot of time sitting and lying down, this time of the day is probably when I'm most active. And then other than what I've already said, my schedule varies a lot. It's hard to write. It would be hard to write it down, anything consistent. For me, my chronic illness kind of takes away my ability to guarantee much of anything. It's really hard for me to make plans with people because I won't really know if I'm going to be too sick to do them until right beforehand. And there have been many times where I've had to cancel on things and miss out on things because of an episode of pain or sickness. Challenges I face in my day-to-day are likely things that people don't find issue with. I struggle a lot with sleep, not in your standard way of insomnia where I just can't fall asleep or stuff like that. It's more that my body is woken up by its problems, either nausea or pain or stuff like that, and so I usually only really get to sleep for 3 to 4 hours at a time. Though I actually don't think I struggle much with being tired. I actually think that sleeping this way works best for me, and still allows me to do the things I want to do in my life. I also struggle with chronic pain. I experience a lot of pain in my head. I experience a lot of pain in my joints and in my muscles. I experience a lot of pain associated with my digestive system, so my bowels. And I very frequently get infections, which can also cause pain in other locations. Due to problems with my spine, I cannot lift more than 15 pounds at a time. I cannot eat large meals as I'm likely to vomit them up. I cannot stand for more than 30 minutes without rest due to the pain it causes my back and my legs. And I cannot travel without very intensive planning because traveling through the airport at specific times or driving for a very long time usually requires more for me than it would for others. So it just makes a lot of what I do in my life very difficult. While my use of assistive technology is limited, I do and have used a couple things in the past. Braces are extremely common for me because of the instability of my joints. I very often use wrist, ankle, and knee braces. I've considered using elbow and back braces, but when I have tested them, they haven't really worked well for me. But this kind of bracing does help reduce the mobility that my joints have, which is what usually causes a lot of the pain, is like the overextension. And this does help allow me to participate in tasks longer, so when I wear my ankle braces, it does allow me to stand and walk around for a longer amount of time. I also use them because they're very common to be used, and it makes me feel less embarrassed in public. The other one is I don't really necessarily know if this would be assistive technology or medical technology, but I've had 7 brain surgeries, and they were all done in a very, very short amount of time, within a year and a half. And so I was given port access, so that the hospital wouldn't have to, stick in an IV or a PICC line every single time that I needed to be admitted. It also allowed me to get fluids and other nutrients at home that I normally struggled to get into my system. I will say when I had my port, because I no longer have it, it made life a lot easier. I kind of wish I still had it, but that's what I used. Possible new technology that I've thought of is stuff that could help me lift things. I know there are already technologies out there that help do this, but I guess I'm thinking in my head of something more specific. Um, Something that would be small and easy to push around in my house, that I could situate and it would help me grab and lift things, and then I could push it around to bring these heavier objects to different places. Um, However, such a machine would likely cost quite a bit to develop, as I know there are similar machines for like lifting people, or helping people get upstairs and stuff like that, and all of those are quite expensive. So I actually don't even know if I would even be able to afford something like this, but if it was something that I could obtain, I would absolutely use it. Um, I hope my choice to use myself in this case study was okay. Um, while I know a few other people with physical disabilities, I guess it felt like a better decision for me to use myself because I know more about myself, and it's easier for me to write a genuine presentation here about myself than another. So thank you for listening, and thank you for allowing me to create this presentation.